All right. Oh, let me get my microphone. Hello. I I don't think we have anybody there yet. But this is let's just do it. Hey everybody, my name is Brandon. I am a developer advocate at AWS, and this is a little bit of my productivity time where I'm exercising the AWS principle of learn and be curious. And so to do that, I'm going to walk through a workshop on workshops.aws. And so I'm going to just do that over the next 2 hours. If somebody joins, great. On the live stream, if not, I'm recording this and it'll be posted. So the idea is simply to walk through a workshop. Some of the things I'll know, I'm sure. Some of the things I'm going to learn as we go. And so feel free to chime in on the chat if you decide you want to work through it with me. What you can do is you can just use your own AWS account. You can go to workshops.aws and search for the workshop that's titled Baseline Security Workshop. That's the one that I'm gonna work on. And I'll be doing something like this. I'm gonna shoot for every week right now, and we'll see how it goes. Let me just share out my screen here. So I'm going to start out. I just did a blog post yesterday about baseline security measures and talk through it, but that post is based on the workshop. Like I said, you can go to workshops.aws, and up in the top right here, you can search for that startup security baseline or security baseline workshop, and you'll find the one that I'm doing. So here's that workshop. And I'm going to be using my own AWS account to work through this. And we're just going to kind of go through it and see what we can glean from it. So start out our workshop with our introduction. And essentially, we know that security is important. And we want, it has a set of controls we believe all customers should implement as a minimum foundation. To build their business securely on AWS without decreasing agility. Yep, of course. So this is a good place to start. Let's see if there's any specific requirements. We're working through these steps and implementing the controls in my own account. Let's see, some of these controls will require root access. I've got that. And the rest can be done with admin level permissions. I'm assuming we're going to create an IAM user. I think I have a couple in my account already that we can use, but I am logged in already. And then navigation. Navigation's over here on the left if you've never done one of these workshops before. And so you can use the navigation on the left. You can use the next button at the bottom on these workshops. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's move on to our foundations. All right, this is the well-architected framework. And as far as foundations go, this really does help to separate what a customer is responsible for when it comes to AWS versus what AWS is responsible for. So security of the cloud, that's the AWS responsibility. Security in the cloud, that's the customer responsibility. So everything that we're going to do in this workshop is going to be focused on this top part, this customer part of the shared responsibility model. So that's going to include things like client-side data encryption, data integrity and authentication, server-side encryption, protecting your network traffic, making sure that your operating systems, network, and firewall configurations are secure, that type of stuff. So that is what we're going to focus on. All right, so let's hit next. All right, so what are they telling us here? Controls and recommendations, this section, help keep your account secure. Yep. And emphasis on identity and access management, or IAM, or IAM, whatever. I've heard it all different ways. So users, user groups, roles, which we also call a principal. And this applies to both human and machine access. Okay. And so we're going to do a little bit of confirmation first, and then some monitoring, trusted advisor, guard duty, budgets. Yeah, all good things that are going to help us to stay secure. All right, that's cool. So let's see. So these are links to the docs, prescriptive guidance, and it's going to go into the details on the different things that we're going to do in here. So I'm not going to click on those. Doesn't need any prior knowledge. Okay. We talked about root access, and most of the stuff is free to implement. Okay. And a little overview. Let's go ahead and hit next. Let's jump into it. All right. So obviously accurate account information. Make sure that we don't lose access to our account. That's important, right? We don't want to lose access to our AWS account. So we want to have account level context, so a valid email distribution list. So that's a good idea, right? So the reason we set that is so that if somebody leaves the organization and their email is turned off, with the main account being set to a distribution list, you can always ensure that somebody will be able to get an email if you needed to recover access or something like that. And let's see. So we want to make sure the root account email is valid, add alternate contacts, and security challenge questions. Okay. So let's go look. Let's go see what I have in my account. So I'm just going to swipe over here. And this is one of my test accounts. So I'm just gonna go to, let's see, what do they want me to do? They want me to go, oh yeah, go into my account. Okay, so let's go to my account. And okay, so account ID, account name, they got that blurred out, so no need to really see that. And then update account settings, name, email, password. Yeah, I think that's all pretty standard stuff. Change the email to a valid email. Yeah. I don't think I need to go through all of that. Although I don't have any of that in here. I would do that, but I'm not going to enter my information in here right now. Okay. This is the basics, but let's go ahead. Browser, make sure that we log in successfully in the password. That's good. That's good. Add alternate contacts. I feel like this is just the very basic security challenge questions. It's good, but I kind of want to get to the meat. And of course, we can do it to the CLI. Okay, let's go here, protect the root user. Let's see what it tells us here. Okay, MFA for the root user, and delete your root account access keys. I may move quickly through some of these because I already have them done. Security credentials. If I go back here to my security credentials, I know I already have MFA on the account. So I have MFA set up. I don't have access keys. So I'm already good on this one. No access keys. And MFA is turned on. When we do an IAM user, I'll show you how to do a, we'll look at how to set up MFA. It's a pretty easy process. Okay. So let's go through this, MFA. Yeah, we've got that already set up on my root account. All right, create users for human identities. Okay, so this is where we're going to get into identity and access management, or IAM. So we have Identity Center or an IAM user with administrator privileges that we'll use for our day-to-day tasks. Yeah, we don't want to use this root account that I'm logged into right now for anything. There should really be no reason to use that account. You create it, then you create the users that are going to do the work, and then you log into that account. Okay, so we're going to create users in Identity Center and secure them, and in IAM and secure them. So let's do it. Okay, so what is IAM? Identity Center, it's SSO, AWS SSO, okay. Makes it easy to manage all of your AWS accounts and applications. That's good. And it's integrated with organizations, of course. So we're going to use, Identity Center, but we could use Okta, Azure AD, Microsoft Active Directory. Okay, but we're not going to use that. We're going to use what's available to us right inside our AWS account for this particular one. Okay, so we're going to do an IAM admin user, and we'll go to my account. Let's just look through what they're going to have us do. Go to IAM user roles and billing informations, click on edit, activate IAM access. Okay, so what we're doing here, what they're asking us to do is to go into my account settings, and then for my account settings, we're going to go into the user and role access to see the billing information. And they're saying that I need to activate access so that an IAM user can see the billing data. Otherwise, they're not going to see or have access to billing information. And so that would let us create a user that can then go ahead and see our billing access. Okay, so we can come back to that. I'm not concerned with the billing part of it right now. Let's talk about Identity Center. Okay, so let's go to Identity Center here. So here's Identity Center. And we're going to enable it. And if we're not part of an organization, it's going to ask me to create one. So let's go ahead and enable Identity Center. And I think, okay, so it didn't ask me to set up organizations because I already have an organization set up. I had messed around with that in this account a little while back. Essentially, an organization, when you set it up, if this was the main account that started the organization, that will be like my top level account, and that's where the billing should happen. And then as I create other accounts and I make them a part of the organization, it consolidates billing up to my main account. So I can have a bunch of almost like sub accounts. They're full blown accounts, but they're tied together through this concept of an organization. And then from the top level of the organization, you can control what each other organization has access to. So you can do things like service control policies and make sure that they can't access certain services that you don't want to use or that are outside the scope of what the organization wants to pay for. So I already have that set up, but okay. So I clicked enable. I didn't have to create an organization, but I do need to pick an identity source. So let's choose our identity source. All right. And it's going to be set to Identity Center directory. I think that's already, let's see. So right here, Identity Center directory. That's good. And so, yeah, it's just internal. It's an internal directory. And so this is where I'm going to manage my users and groups internal in my AWS account. I'm not going to do that somewhere else. All right. Now, on the settings page, click authentication, and then select configure. Okay, so that's the authentication tab here. And they want us to set up MFA. So here's multi-factor authentication. And so it wants us to go there, click on configure, and then require them to register an MFA device at sign in. Okay. So let's do that. Let's hit configure. And let's require at sign in that an MFA device get registered. So this means that the first time that user goes to authenticate, they're going to have to set up MFA. We're requiring them to register that MFA device when they sign in, and then that way they'll be protected by MFA. Okay, now we're going to create an admin. So this is our left-hand menu. We're going to go to users and we're going to add a user. So that's up here on the left, users. And actually, you know what? Let's make this a little bigger. How about that? So let's add a user. And John Admin, that sounds like a good name. John Admin. And send an email to the user with password setup, instructions, or generate a one-time user that you can share with them. Next, add a user. Okay, so let me see here. All this other stuff is optional here, but I need to send an email. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to set this up real quick. I'll just put a Gmail account in there, but I don't need to share that with everybody. It'll probably show up later though, huh? That's all right. And I'm going to hit next. Okay, let's let everybody back in on what I'm doing here. Okay, so I hit next after I put in the email address, add the user to a group. Okay, so I add the user. They just say to hit next on the review add user page, click add user, and then we get an email. Okay, so let me do that over here. Let me do that. Add user. Okay, so now we're just waiting for that user to come through. I'm going to open up in another window. My email here. And no email yet. So I guess this is going to take us a minute to get the email for John Admin here. So we'll give it a minute to come into my email. Usually this happens pretty quick. Yep, on the right account. Okay. Where is the email? Filter and look for it. Just a Gmail, it should come in pretty quick. Oh, let's make sure it didn't go to spam. Sure did. It went to spam. Okay, so this is not spam. Let me Okay, so basically the email says, hello, John Admin. Your AWS organization with this account number uses Identity Center, the successor to AWS Single Sign-On, to provide access to accounts and business applications. Admins invited you to the portal. I have a button to accept the invitation. The invitation will expire in 7 days. After you've accepted the invitation, you can sign into the portal using the information below, and it gives me a URL. Okay, so I'm going to click on accept the invitation. That's happening over here. Okay, so let me just show you what I'm seeing here. This is what I get. All right, so that's what I'm getting. Is I'm John Admin and I need to set a new password. Okay, so let's set a new password for John Admin and then we'll put it back here. AWS John Admin. So I'm going to go ahead and set my new password. And this is what I get next. So after I set that new password, now it just wants me to put in my username. And my username is John-admin. So if I go to John-admin and hit next, John Admin, my password manager, and sign in. And then it should ask me, there we go. So here's where it's saying, okay, you need to register an MFA device. And so that's what I need to do. I got to have that MFA device. I'm going to use an authenticator app. I don't want to use a security key or a built-in authenticator. I'll hit next. And then you show the QR code. And then you can scan it with your phone or something. There's a secret key you can also use. Let me just do that off screen real quick, and then I'll bring it right back. So I'm going to show the QR code. And then I personally like to use 1Password. 1Password lets me, through the 1Password app, scan the QR code, and then it automatically generates the authenticator code for me and sets it up. So I'm going to authenticate. And then here's what I see after I do that. So the authenticator app has registered. You can now use when prompted for additional verification at sign in. And it just named it for me. And I could call it whatever I want. You can rename it. That's kind of nice. So I hit done. And I don't have any applications, but I'm in. I am in with my single sign-on, my Identity Center account. Okay. So I went ahead and did all that, but I didn't do this give your admin user permissions. That would be a good idea if we did that, wouldn't it? And so permission sets is how that's accomplished. It wants us to create a permission set. And then there's a predefined one called administrator access. Okay. So let's go back over here. And here's the permission sets. And we're going to create a permission set. We're going to do a predefined permission set for administrator access and click next. Give it a name, administrator access, session duration. I'm going to make this 2 hours. Just that way it'll stay connected while we're doing this. Let's see if it's giving me any instruction here. Additional details, click create, click on accounts, and then assign that to the user. Okay, so let's go do that. So let's hit next. So this is a predefined administrator access permission set. I'm going to create that. There I've got administrator access. And now I need to go to that user. John admin. Is this where it wants me to do that? Let me see. Where did it tell me to go? AWS accounts. Back to the organization screen. Okay, so we create that permission set for administrator access. Specify the details, click on create. Then we click on AWS accounts here. And this takes us to our organization accounts. Got it. And then from here, select the AWS accounts you would like to give the user access to. So this is saying that this user is going to have access to access these different accounts. So remember when I said we had organizations. So here's 3 different organizations. So the management account, and then I have a dev and a prod account. And so I just need to select which of these accounts that user is going to have access to. And assign users or groups is how you do it, right? Let's see. That's how you do it, right? Assign users or groups. Yep. Select the user you created. Yeah. So I go to my user here, John admin. Yeah, John admin. Click next and then submit. Yeah, so I'm tying this admin, the administrator access to those 3 accounts. Oh, I got to select it. Click next. Click submit. Okay, now it's going to tie it all together. Okay, cool. So that's pretty easy. Okay. So email had a user portal to sign into. Go to that portal URL. Oh, okay. You can find that user portal URL in the Identity Center dashboard. It'll be over here on the right like that. They want us to go to that portal. Since it's your first time, reset your password. I don't need to do that because I already authenticated. It had me set up MFA. And then I did that. I did the Authenticator app. I clicked on, well, I'm not using that. I didn't use that. I used 1Password. But then once you're logged in, you get redirected to the SSO screen. And you should see that you have access to those different accounts. Okay, so I'm logged in there, but remember, I didn't have access before. I wonder if I just refresh, if it'll get my permissions or if I have to log out. Look at that. So there's those 3 accounts that I gave access to. Very good. All right, I like it. I like it. Okay. Create some users for my team. User screen, permission sets, AWS accounts team. Repeat these steps for each human identity that needs another user. Okay, so I don't need to do any more, but at this point, I've got some users. Custom permission sets. So I guess they're saying we can go in and create custom permissions, of course. We just select custom permission sets. Yeah, we can take a look at what that looks like right here. If we go to permission sets and we create a permission set and we say we want to do a custom permission set, now we have AWS managed policies and we can select from all those different policies here. So maybe we're going to create a permission set for, let's say, EC2. And there's some AWS managed policies all ready for EC2. like maybe this one, read-only access. And we can attach this policy that will just give them read-only access to EC2, right? So we have AWS managed policies, we have customer managed, which we have not set up, inline policies, which we can write a policy right here. And we can set a permission boundary to control the maximum permissions that we can grant to a role, but we don't have any of that. Okay. Do they really want me to do this? EC2 full access. Attach that checkbox. EC2 full access. S3 full access. And then assign that permission set to other users and groups. Okay, so if I really wanted to do that, I could come in here and I could say that I'm going to create, let's filter on EC2 again. And let's take off the read-only and give full access. And then let's take off that filter and let's go S3 and say S3 full access. So right now there should be two policies that are selected. And then if we hit next, we give it a name, and this would be EC2 and S3 full, or whatever you want to call it. And then next, it's a custom permission set with those two policies. And we can create it. And there we go. Now we got another permission set, and we can attach that to a user if we wanted to do that. All right. I'm not going to create any more users. I don't think I need to add any others. Unless they later on tell us that we're going to test what they can access. But I think at this point we can come back to that. Okay. All right, create users in IAM. Okay. So obviously, this is a second method of creating users. The method that we just saw, that's what's recommended at this point. Use Identity Center, create your users, give them that really cool portal that they can sign into and then get access to whatever accounts. And then once they're in that account, for example, if I went here and I selected this account and I went Management Console, there it signs me into that Management Console. And I have administrator access as John Admin, and now I can do whatever I want to do in there, right? So that's the cool thing about that. So I'm going to just sign out of that. Yeah, I had a feeling it was going to log me out there. Let me make sure I get logged back in here. There's a nice plugin for Firefox that lets you open up different accounts in like a container in the browser. So you can have a admin container, you can have, John admin container, and you can open up the different portals in those containers. But what happened is as soon as I logged in with John admin through that SSO console and I hit the management console, it logged me out of the other ones. So I'm just going to sign out here and I'm going to sign back in to my account. And let's go back into, I think that's it. Yep. Okay, so we're back signed in. There we go. All right, we are signed in again. Okay. What's next? Okay, so IAM. We're going to create an IAM user. This is that different method. So I am logged in. Go to my account. Enable billing. So we saw this already. I didn't do it, but activate IAM access to see billing information. and then set a password policy to ensure strong passwords. So now we're going to go to IAM instead of Identity Center. And I already have a link to it here. It's just as easy as going IAM there. And I started here, and that's why it shows up here. So like if I went Identity Center, and I know I'm going to be working with that a lot, I'd star it, and there it is. So we can just jump into it there. Okay. So go in there and go to account settings and change the password policy. So I can go account settings here. Password policy is 8 characters. And if I just hit edit here, I could change it to 9 or whatever. I think all my passwords are beyond that anyhow. Set a password expiration. That'd be a good practice. All right, so they're having us make it very unique, right? 1 uppercase letter, 1 lowercase letter, 1 number, 1 non-alphanumeric number. Prevent password reuse. Yeah, and let's say you can't use the last 5 passwords, and save changes. So impact any new user creation. Yep, we'll set custom. And we've got us a new password policy. All right, now they want us to create an IAM admin user. So from here, we go to users. Go to users here and add a user. And they want us to add admin for password. And then we're going to give them administrator access and set up MFA for them. Okay. So let's just call this Joe admin. We already have John admin. We want them to have access to the management console. Notice what they're telling us here. If you're providing console access to a person, it's a best practice to manage it through Identity Center, which is what we just did. So are you providing console access to a person? Specify user in Identity Center. So this is a little different than the screenshot here because it's been updated, right? So the best practice is to use Identity Center for people. And this is having us create an admin user that's going to have management console access. All right, so here's what I would say. This is great to show us how to do it, right? I want to create an IAM user, and then we can set an auto-generated password. Like we could do this and create the user, right? But the whole idea of this workshop is a security baseline starting out with good security. So while this is great for informational purposes on how to create a user in IAM and how to set up MFA for them, I don't think I want to do it because it's not best practice at this point in time. All right, create IAM users for your team. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do this for my team. Now, I will say that, I mean, it doesn't have to, this user doesn't have to have management console access. Could be through programmatic access. But again, that's not what it's asking us to do. We're just creating users for human identities. And so I'm going to leave it. I'm going to skip this create users in IAM because it's not best practice anymore. And we understand what we're doing. It's very similar to attaching a permission like we did, right? Administrator access, it's an existing policy, attaching that to the user. Very similar to what we did in Identity Center. Setting up MFA, very similar to what we did in Identity Center. except you go into security credentials and you manage it there. Okay, yeah, we're gonna leave this. I'm just gonna hit cancel here because I don't want to create an IAM user. I don't want to do that. Okay. So let's see. Let's hit next and let's go on to the next section. Use user groups. Okay, so user groups enable applying permission policies to the collection of IAM users that are within the group. Create user groups that align to human operator job functions and attach appropriate managed policies. Define permission sets. To get started with granting least privilege, examples include different groups for applications, data, networking, or DevOps teams. Senior, non-senior engineers, yep. Okay, again, this is going to go Identity Center and IAM user groups. We'll just do Identity Center for now because 4 people use Identity Center. Okay. Okay, so we're going to create a web developer group in Identity Center. So we're going to go to the Identity Center console. We're going to go to groups and create a group. So let's go to the Identity Center console. Let's go to groups. Let's create a group. Okay, web developers. That'll be our first group. Okay. And Mary and Lisa. Okay, so this would have been good for us to have, I guess, a couple of other web developers or a couple of other users. You know what? Let's just do it. Let's go here. Let's go users. Let's add a user. Let's go Mary, user. And I mean, this is just going to go nowhere, right? Let's go Mary user at nowhere.com. We're not going to activate Mary. We're just going to next. Oh, Mary user next. No groups right now, so we're going to go next. Yeah, confirm it. I'm going to copy this so I can use that next. Say add user. Let's add another user. Ante-user. I don't know. Nephew. Just use his name. Ante-user. Next. Add user. Okay, now let's go to our groups. Let's create our web developers group. Mary. There we go. And actually, we should have put Dante in there too, huh? So Mary and Dante are web developers now. Mary and Lisa are web developers here, but we get the point. Okay, so we got to give that group some permissions. Go to permission sets, system administrator. With our own permission set options. And then we assign them. Okay, so assign users or groups, web developers. Yeah. Okay, so let's go permission sets. We already created a second permission set, which was EC2 and S3 full access. Let's do that. So let's go AWS accounts. And let's just select these accounts. Well, didn't need to do that, I guess. Select the groups. Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah. So the group is web developers. And we're going to give them EC2 and S3 full access. Yeah. And that'll give them access to those organizations, those 3 organizations that I selected. Okay. That's good. So my accounts, my permission sets that are applied to it are listed over here. Yep, looks good. Actually, what we probably would have made more sense is assign users or groups. Hit cancel. Go here, permission sets. Let's go to EC2 and remove that. I'll explain this in just a second. Okay, so now let's go to accounts. Okay, so now what I did is the dev and the prod accounts now have that EC2 and full access. And so that would mean that Mary user and Dante user, when they log into the portal, they're going to have access to the dev and the prod account and have what they need, but there's no reason for them to be in the management account. The management account, I'm not even going to run workloads in here. So I would generally run those in these other accounts. So that's the better way to do it. Okay. So we've created groups for the different job functions, and we added those to the organizations and tied the users to it, brought that all together. Okay, I'm not going to do IAM user groups. We're going to skip that. Next thing it says we want to do is turn CloudTrail on. Okay, so what is CloudTrail? So CloudTrail is a trail of who has done what and where in my account. So the way I think about this, I think back to when I used to do AAA on Cisco routers, authentication, authorization, and accounting. And so when you'd set up an admin user that can log in with TACX Plus or Radius, and you'd authorize the commands they could enter on the command line, and then you would account for what they did so you could see everything that they typed and what they did. So that's basically what we're saying we want to do here, right? So with CloudTrail on, we're going to see the activity across my AWS infrastructure. It is on by default. It gives you 90-day event history. And we can view, search, download, archive, analyze, and respond to activity across the infrastructure. So that's good. This does apply to anything that happens through the console, through the command line, SDKs, and even APIs. So that's good. So there's the controls section. Okay. Gotta stay hydrated. Understanding CloudTrail events. Okay, so we're going to log into our console with our IAM admin user, go to CloudTrail, and then search for CloudTrail on the top navigation bar and go to event history. So it looks like we're switching over now from that root user, which is rightly so, to an IAM admin user, or we can do our identity center user. Okay, so let's just go here to dashboard. And let's click on this. And then let's go to John Admin. There we go, sign me in. This should have signed me. Nope, didn't sign me out yet because I haven't accessed the console anywhere. So do I want to go to the console? Yeah, let's just do it here, management console. Okay. Now that signed me out. Okay, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Signing me out. Okay. So let's see where to go. CloudWatch or CloudTrail. Yeah, we're doing CloudTrail. Okay, doesn't look like I've accessed it recently. On this account. Let's save it. Cloud console, event history. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we've got some activity going on here, huh? Okay. Explore the event history, look at the different events, if any. So the what happened, when it happened, and who did it. Okay, so let's see. Get bucket ACL. So something's getting the bucket ACL. Let's go here. So what happened? Get bucket ACL. All right. There's my event record. CloudTrail. Quest ID. The recipient account. Okay, so it's just some management access. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's see what it's telling us now. So that's on by default. So I didn't even have to do anything to turn on that CloudTrail event history. 90 days free. And we can just go in and see what's happened. And here's all the John admins, what they've accessed since I've logged in, right? Okay. So let's see, create your first CloudTrail trail via CloudFormation. Okay, so it's going to store it for the 90 days. That's what we said, but it's better to store it in a permanent ongoing record trail. That's right. So we're going to go to our terminal. We're going to go to a folder where we can access on our desktop, copy and paste the following into the browser tab. It'll download to my downloads folder. Okay, gotcha. So this is a CloudFormation template. It's going to get me a YAML file. So let's just go here and hit that. And there's that YAML file. Okay. Go to CloudFormation, create a stack. And under the specify template, upload that template file. Okay, yeah, so that's easy enough. So if I come over here and go to CloudFormation and create a stack, and then upload a file, and then I'm going to choose a file. Let's see, let me just choose that file for a second here. Choose a file, downloads, date. Let's go by date added. Open. Okay. Okay, there we go. So there's that YAML file that I downloaded. I'm going to hit next. And we're going to give it a stack name. What does this do? Let's go CloudTrail stack. Okay, next. And then might create IAM resources. Okay, let's see if we can look at what this YAML file is doing. Open. What did it open it in? Oh, no, don't open it in that. Let's go VS Code, huh? Let's just file and see if we can figure out what it's doing before we open that up. Open. Okay, here's that file. Not production ready. Yeah, it's for a workshop. Okay, so what is it doing? It's creating a trail, an S3 bucket for the trail. IAM role. Create a bucket policy. S3 bucket ACL. Cloud trail. And okay, so it's given full control of that bucket. This is the role that it's going to create. Okay, so it's basically going to create a role that can be used to access that bucket and put CloudTrail events into it. Okay. Okay. Let's go back here. All right. Now that we've got that, we acknowledge it, and let's create the stack. And then it's going to create that bucket for us. So let's do it. Creates in progress. So this is infrastructure's code, right? I mean, we're taking that code, we're creating some infrastructure out of it. We're creating an S3 bucket, a role. So, and if you hit here, you can see what it's creating. Log groups. If you go to resources, you can also see the resources that are being created. And if you refresh here, we're still in progress. If I come back to events and I refresh, right, you can see there's still some more stuff going on. Create in progress. It takes a minute. This is one that's probably not going to take too long to complete. Okay, that's done. So we refresh here, complete, go to resources. Here's that S3 bucket. Let's open it up. Got AWS logs. And there we go. There's our CloudTrail folder. And we just give it some time, and that'll start to put some objects in there for us. Okay. Okay, we could do it manually. Let's see what this looks like. So we create a trail. Let's go back to CloudTrail. Okay, create a trail. Management? No. Enter events. Let's do a new S3 bucket. I think I'm going to leave all that default. Create a trail. S3 bucket. Enable KMS encryption. Yeah, I could do that. Yep, enabled. CloudTrail key. That's creative. I'm going to delete this when we're all done here, so it doesn't matter, right? Then log file validation. Under CloudWatch logs, we're going to enable that. And the log group name. Select enabled. Oh, and then the log group name is what it's asking me. So this is where it wants me to put CloudWatch root account use alarm. I'm going to just do it like this. That's my log group. And then it'll be used in the subsequent section. So let's just get rid of that. Oops. Go. Okay, so there's that and there's that. Leave the other options default, select next. Log events, management events, read and write API activity. Yep. So that's default. Click next. Okay, there's my trail information. Create trail. And we create a new cloud trail. And then we'll just go look real quick and see. Okay, there we go. So there's our management events trail. Okay. So let's just go. CloudWatch root account use alarm as log group. Okay, so here's the CT stack S3 bucket. That's from that stack that we put together. And then here's the CloudTrail logs that we just did, the management events that we just did, the new trail. And so this is a new S3 bucket right here. And same kind of thing, right? So nothing in there right now. However, I think if we went back to buckets and we went to CT stack S3 bucket, still empty. But again, we give it some time and we'll get some stuff. Okay, so we turned on CloudTrail to a persistent location, which was an S3 bucket, and then it'll stay there longer than the 90 days. It's enabled by default, which is what we want, right? Cool. All right, so again, security baseline workshop. We're working through our security baseline workshop on workshops.aws. The first part of this workshop is securing your AWS account. The first thing we looked at was accurate account information to make sure we don't lose access to the root account user. Then we protected the root user. That was MFA stuff. We created users for human identities. It gave us two options in this workshop. We could create a user in IAM Identity Center and just a user in IAM. We decided not to do IAM users because the best practice says for humans, for people, we use Identity Center now. Then we did user groups. We did that in Identity Center. We assigned some permissions to them, and then we said that they had access to the specific organizations. And then we turned on CloudTrail so that we're logging what's going on. So that's what's happening. And so now we're at blocking public access for the S3 bucket. Okay, so we want to make sure that our logs are kept private and not exposed to the public. We can do this by turning on the block public access for our log bucket. Now, this is interesting. Let's go back here and permissions, block all public access. That's where it should be, right? So block all public access on, should be turned on. So yeah, block all public access to that bucket. Type confirm. And let's look at the other permissions. Okay, so that's on. That's good. So interesting that the one that we set up manually automatically blocked public access. But the one that was done through CloudFormation, that stack, that's the one that we had to enable it for. Okay. And yes, you're seeing a public bucket. That's got a CloudFormation template in it that I was using for something else. That's why it's public. There's only one object in it. Yep. Okay. Looking good so far. So we blocked all public access. You may add a bucket policy to implement MFA for deletes of your bucket objects. Ooh, that's good. Yeah, we like that. So this is just saying that we can add a bucket policy. And so let's just go to like our bucket here. Right. And we were looking at our policy. So we can add a bucket policy that implements MFA for deletes of what's in my bucket. Oh, I don't know what that's all about. Some RVing stuff. Okay. All right. I think we are good. So we turned on CloudTrail. We made sure that the CloudTrail logs are encrypted. We kind of glossed over that, didn't we? We kind of glossed over that. So going back over here, when we created our CloudTrail here, when we created our management events trail, we told it to encrypt using KMS. And we set that CloudTrail key, if you remember me setting that, right? And so, yeah, we did set it up so that they're encrypted. And then protected the S3 bucket by blocking public access, which is exactly what we did. Okay, let's move on. Let's see if we can at least get through part one of this today. Okay, prevent public access to private S3 buckets. Okay, so S3 buckets store static file objects and other data by default. The root user and the IAM principal, if used, can read and write S3 buckets created by that principal. Got it. Okay, so remember a user is a principal. So if an IAM principal, right? So whatever that account is, so John user goes in and creates a bucket, then John user can write to that bucket, but so can the root user of the AWS account. Okay. Additional IAM principals are granted using policies, identity-based policies, And access conditions can be enforced using a bucket policy. Bucket policies can be authored that grant access to the bucket and the general public. Okay, access to the bucket to the general public. So do we want the general public to have access? So we prevent public access to our private S3 buckets due to bucket policy misconfiguration by enabling the block public access setting for each bucket. Okay, so what they're saying here is that we can just click on the block public access setting. And then if we misconfigure our bucket policy to allow wider access, it still will not allow public access. If we're not going to be using public S3 buckets, enable this at the account level, prevents policies that enable public access from taking effect. Yeah, so it's just making sure that we don't accidentally expose data in a public bucket by blocking public access. So turn on S3 at the account level and at the turn off S. Let me start over. Turn on S3 block public access at the account level and turn on S3 block public access at the bucket level. So best practice is to do it at the account level. Then I don't have to manage it on every single bucket. And then the question is going to come up. What if I need to host a static website on S3? Then you can use CloudFront with an S3 REST API endpoint as the origin. So this is one method, and there's a blog post. And then you can put buckets with sensitive data, then buckets with non-sensitive data in different accounts. So prod, secure, whatever you want to call it. And then do the BPA, S3 BPA on the one that has sensitive data. Okay. Okay. So at the account level, so we're going to go look at the account level. And we're going to go S3. Favorited it, right? S3 console, block public access setting for this account. So right here, block all public access is off. So I just go here and I say block all public access, save changes, confirm. Now you're going to see something interesting here. Boom, that's on. Look at my buckets. And remember, this one was public before. So now it's not. That's okay. I was just using that to test, so it's fine. Okay. Block public access. Done. And then at the bucket level, I think I just showed that, didn't I? Go into there, go to permissions, block public access. Okay. Two ways to do it, but we do it over here at the account level. And then we don't have to worry about somebody creating a bucket in this account and having public access enabled. So that's smart. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, alarms. We're going to set up a billing alarm and an alarm for account or for root account use. Okay. The billing alarm is going to notify me if my billing is going to exceed a certain amount. That's a good idea, right? Because if somebody were to gain access to my account and start to run a workload that's costing me money, as soon as I hit that cost threshold, it's going to let me know, and then I can go, wait, what's this all about? The root account is going to let me know if someone accesses the root account. Perfect. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So signed in using root user credentials, view billing information, go to the billing console, click on billing preferences, billing console, billing preferences, receive billing alerts, save preferences. I think I'm accessing this through John. I don't know that I'm going to have access to my billing dashboard right now. Yeah, see, I need permission. So this is what we were talking about earlier. We didn't allow this earlier. But they want us to go into billing preferences and receive billing alerts. I do have that set up. Don't I? Let's look. Let me look. Okay. So I'm going to go back. Sign out here. Close that, close that, close that, close that, reload that page. I'll share this out in just a second. Let me get logged back into that root account and get to a spot where I can share this. What am I looking for here? Billing preferences. And then they want me to receive billing alerts. Okay. So I'm back in the root account just for a minute. And there it is. Receive billing alerts. All right. And so that can be saved. Okay. That's good. So I'll get billing alerts. Now, what was the other setting? The other setting. See, we didn't allow access to billing information for our Identity Center users, did we? Did we want to do that? I think I said I didn't want to do that when we went through that, right? But I'm trying to remember where it had us turn that on. My account. Here's what I'm looking at. So this is back where we were under a accurate account information, right? So it wanted us to go into that account, alternate contacts, security challenge questions. And then we had protect the root user, which we went into the root user. We made sure there were no keys. We turned on MFA. Didn't we have an option in here? Enable access to billing data. Okay, let's go look. So if I go to my account, Okay, here it is. This is what I did not enable earlier. IAM user and role access to billing information. So we use this checkbox to set the allow IAM users and roles access to pages of the billing and cost management console. It doesn't grant them permission, but they can be granted permission. So I also have to attach an IAM policy to the users or roles that we want that access to be applied to. So if I update that, and I say that if I'm an IAM user, I get access to billing information. And yeah, so that's, if I do that, then let's go back to Identity Center and let's go back in as John. Let's get John logged in again. Okay, here John's logged in again. And I'm just curious if he has billing dashboard access now. There he does. Yeah. And he's got that because he's an admin user, right? So in Identity Center, I set him as an admin user, which means he should have access to this billing data. Okay, let's jump back ahead here and go to my billing alarm. And that's billing preferences. Do I have billing preferences access? Yes. And remember billing alerts. You notice you can't turn it off. As an IAM user, he can see that it's turned on, but he can't turn it off. So let's go to budgets. And we're going to create a budget. And we're going to set that to a lot less than 350 US dollars. Let's create a budget here. And we want to do a monthly cost budget. So, and we want to say your budgeted amount. Let's just say that it's $40. No, let's say $20. Last month was $13. Let's just make it. Let's make it 10. And then put in my email recipients that are going to get it. And yeah, I'll plug it in there. You haven't seen it already, but and then create budget. There we go. All right, so I got a monthly cost budget of $10. I now have a budget alarm that's going to let me know if I go over my spend. I already am this month, I think. And let's see, we can deploy the billing alarm with CloudFormation. Okay, so we just did it manually. This is fine. It's just giving you an alternative way to do it, right? So here's another YAML file you can download. And then you can open that up and look at what it's going to do. Let's just open it up with VS Code. There we go. So there's going to be some stuff you'll have to enter in here, right? So recipient email, phone number, threshold, some parameters here, your email address, mobile phone number, billing alert 4. right, within the period. Okay, so yeah, you're just setting up a billing alert. Yeah. So I'm not going to do that using CloudFormation. I mean, it's redundant at this point. We just set it up manually. Okay. So, but hey, if you're doing this, you are more than welcome to do that through CloudFormation. Billing alerts. Actually, this is a CloudWatch, right? That's what it's doing. Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah, so that's going to create an alarm. Billing alarm. Total estimated charges. Okay. Okay, so I'm wrong. So let's go back here. Let's go to CloudFormation. Let's create a stack. Create a stack with new resources. Upload our template file. Choose my file, CloudWatch billing. There it's selected, hit next. And then this is a billing alert stack. Okay. Your email, email.com. Your phone number. Oh, got to do it in this format. There we go, 5551212. And then our threshold, let's see, this is going to be 15. It's going to do SMS on this one, so that's kind of cool. Okay, let me fill this out with some real data this time. Next. Next. Submit. Okay, so you remember what this looks like with that stack creating itself. My billing alert stack. Takes a few minutes. US East. That's an output. Region check, US East. Okay. Create complete. That was quick. And I got a billing alert set up. Okay, let's go to the CloudWatch. Okay. There's our billing alert that we just created. Okay. So we went to all alarms. There's my billing alert right there. Okay, so we could do this manually as well. Create an alarm, select our metric. All right, so create an alarm, select a metric, billing, right? Yeah, I'm going to hit cancel on this. Select billing, set in our estimated value. All right, 6-hour period. Greater than $350. Then an SNS topic. So SNS, our simple notification service. So if you go here, go SNS, simple notification service. There is a topic already because that stack created it for me. And yeah, that's cool. Okay. Let's go back here. So we could create a new topic, set a billing alarm name, create the alarm. Yeah, that means I should have. Yeah, and I do. And this is just a email notification, and I have to confirm it. So this is what I'm looking at. You subscribe to this topic, it's your billing alert, and you click on there and you confirm your subscription. We'll put that back over here. Okay. And then I clicked on it. I should have just shown you that. I clicked on it and I've successfully subscribed. And when I tear all this down, it'll go away anyhow, so it doesn't matter. All right. Okay, so I got a billing alarm. Okay, now we were going to do the root account alarm. The root account use alarm. So this is a good one, right? We want to get an alarm when the root account's used. Again, we're going to do this deal here. We're going to drop in the CloudFormation template. Yeah. And we'll let CloudFormation do that for me. So let's go back here. Create a new stack. Upload that template file. Okay, let's choose that file for my extremely long list of downloaded files. Okay, so root account use alarm.yaml. Root account use stack. Alarm recipient's email. I'm just going to plug my email in there. Next. Okay, then next. Then submit. Boom. Okay. And now we'll give that one a minute to finish. Okay, so this is what we did. I'll get another email again. So I want to watch for that. It's already here. I'm going to confirm my subscription to that. You already saw what that looked like. Okay. This is pretty easy stuff. So check this out. This is cool. So while we were sitting here, I got this email. my monthly cost budget exceeded that amount. I'm at 1186 right now for the month. So we just set that up in that last little task and already done. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Okay. So let's get back here, see where we're at. Okay, so log out of the console and log in as the root user. You should email alert. Okay, let's try it. I'm going to log out. I'm going to go log back in as the root. Okay, I just want you to see that up here, I am back in as the root. It's not John anymore. And did anything tell me that that happened? Let's see. And if so, how quick do I get that email? Nothing yet. Okay, so I don't know how fast to expect this to happen, but let's get back into our John user while we're waiting here, and we'll go configure the other one. There we go. We're back in as John. There it is. And then alarms in alarm. Let's see if we've got that in our CloudWatch. Should we save that? Oh, so there's two in alarm. There's two alarms. In alarm. Huh. It doesn't look like the alarm I expected. So I did log in as the root user. Okay, so I think we're just gonna have to wait. It is an alarm. Root account is greater than or equal to 1 within a 1 minute period. So there it is right here. It just showed up. Right, there's that login. So in alarm. Sends a message to an SNS topic when it's pending. Yeah. Okay, in that case, will I get my email is the question, right? Because I did subscribe. No email yet, but we'll give it some time. But at least we are seeing that it did go into alarm. Oh, what's pending confirmation? Let's go look at my subscriptions. Oh, this is the new one. Boom. Confirm. Oh, do I have that? I didn't get that. Okay, so I did not get the confirmation for the root alarm yet. Make sure you're not in my spam. Not in spam. My only assumption is that I typoed the email address. No, I didn't typo it. So request confirmation. Okay. So when I requested it, I've got, oh, why is that saying billing alert stack? I already did do that one. SNS subscriptions. So something funny is happening. This is interesting. So I'm not exactly sure what I did here, but when I request a confirmation email to be sent, alarm action. Yeah, when I ask for this to be sent to me, because it's pending confirmation, when I ask for it to be sent, it comes as a billing stack confirmation, billing alert stack confirmation, which is already done. Let's go through the manual process for this. Or maybe I don't want to go through the manual process for this. I guess I probably should, right? So go to CloudTrail. Go to CloudTrail. Create a trail. Oh, this is the one I did before, right? Let's cancel that. Is that management events? CloudWatch logs, click edit. Edit. Set log group to new. IAMROL new, save changes. Save changes. Oh. CloudTrail role for CloudWatch logs. So I fill that in. Save changes. Go to log groups. Update to the role policy. They can't create my update to the role policy. So I'm doing something wrong here, apparently. Go back to CloudTrail. Let's start over. What did I do wrong? We uploaded that CloudFormation template. We did it. I'm not getting this root AWS console message. I'm getting billing. Now, wait a minute. Let's go back to CloudFormation. Root account use stack. Events. Metric filters. Resources. Just a metric filter in my outputs. There are none. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to delete this stack. So the delete's in progress. And let's see. I'm not impatient. There we go. That's done. All right. So let's go to stacks. Let's create a stack with new resources. Let's upload a template file and let's choose the root account use alarm. I'm pretty sure this is what I did before. I'm going to do this, copy that to name it. And I mean, how many people have already seen my email address? Next. Where do we go? We're here. Next, acknowledgement. There is no acknowledgement. Bigger stack options. Next, review phase, checkbox at the bottom and create stack. There is no acknowledgement. Okay, submit. And let's just see if this ends up any different this time. Really, I want to get that subscription notification. Oh, that came through quick. Let's go. Where'd you go? Zero minutes ago. So here it is. You have chosen to subscribe to topic alarm action. Confirm subscription. Okay. So this is going to tell me it's done. And then we're going to go to SNS. And let's just see what my subscriptions look like. See, pending confirmation. Something is awry. Okay. Because I literally just agreed to subscribe. And I got this email that I subscribed. And yet there's this thing. Oh, this could be an old one maybe that didn't delete. Well, let's log out. And then let's log back in as the root user. Sign into the console. Next, submit. Okay, we're back in as root. Yeah, something's off. This will be fun to troubleshoot. Something's off with the subscription. Yeah. Something's off with the subscription. Because I'm not getting a new subscribe option. And the only one that I got most recently, 2 minutes ago, is called Alarm Action. Oh, that's right. I got to sign back in. Let's sign out. Go back to the management console. Back in as John. SNS. So there's 2 topics, Alarm Action. Here's the subscription, which shows confirmed. Let's go back to CloudWatch. Alarms. All alarms. Root account use alarm. This is our latest one. So some events there, right? Actions, notification. When in alarm, send a message to the topic alarm action, which is pending confirmation. So there's a bit of a disconnect somewhere here. Let's just open up SNS in a new tab. Subscriptions. So alarm action and alarm action. One of them thinks I'm subscribed and one of them thinks I'm not. Could I delete this? And then could I request a confirmation again? I have a new message. I'm going to show it. 0 minutes ago, I'm going to confirm my subscription. And then let's just go back. And then back to subscriptions. See, yeah, something is amiss. So I'm pending confirmation still, but look at this one's back. Boom, alarm action. Alarm action. And let's publish the message. Test. Publish message. See if I get that. Yep, I got that. Test is there. Oh, hold on a second. So I did get this. Root account use alarm. So somewhere along the path, it works, but I got this weird subscription thing going on here where one is pending and one is not. And I think I can't get rid of that because it's pending. I could delete that one, but that seems to be working now. So I'm going to have to figure that out. All right. Well, boy, it is almost 2 o'clock. So we got to this point of configuring alarms. Man, we've got some good stuff coming up. I think we're going to have to do this next time. Delete unused VPCs, subnets, and security groups, enable trusted advisor, enable guard duty. I was hoping we get through all those of part 1 first show here, but I don't think we're going to have time for that. But yeah, I mean, we worked through a good chunk of the workshop. I think we probably would have got a little further through, maybe even completed part 1, had we not had this weird alarm subscription issue that I need to figure out. But we at least have our metric filter and it's working. I think what we'll do is if we finish this up on another stream, what we can do is we'll pick up on this root account use alarm, but we will do it all manually. We'll delete the CloudFormation template and then we'll just do it manually. And I think that'll work. So, okay, well, I mean, I think that's it. I think that's a good place to stop today. Yeah. All right. Well, if you did follow along live, thanks for being here. Someone did. If yeah, thanks for being here. If you haven't already, then make sure you connect with me on Twitter. There's my Twitter. And yeah, if you prefer LinkedIn, you can do it on LinkedIn as well. Either place, I am Brandon Carroll. So I think that's good. Thanks for joining. And if you're watching the video, thanks for watching this video. If you found it useful, leave a comment. And if you have a specific workshop you want to walk through, leave a comment and we'll set a week for that and we'll do that together. All right, everybody. Goodbye. Thank you. Bye.